Okay, today we want to talk about another quadrilateral, and actually we're going to talk about two different quadrilaterals. The first one we want to talk about is a rectangle and then a rhombus. So we're going to talk about the rectangle first, and then we'll get on to the rhombus. But let's go back to this flow chart. Once again, every flow chart you're going to see this repeated every time. We have our weekly IXLs this week. We're going to do QVX to 80, AJB to 100. So how many sets of parallel sides to it? Well, yesterday we did parallelograms. And parallelograms said we had 2 sets of parallel sides. And then the sides were equal. The opposite sides are equal to each other, as long and with the opposite angles, the same thing too. So, do I have 2 sets of parallel sides? Yes, I did. Are all the sides congruent? Well, that directed me to a no. Then, are all angles 90 degrees? Well, that directed me to a no as well. So then I found that I was dealing with parallelograms. So we're going to follow that same kind of path and the same thought process, only this time we're going to get to the rectangles and to the rhombi. So that's where we're going today. So in this, a rectangle is a quadrilateral, so it's a 4-sided figure. And this 4-sided figure has 4 right angles. So the right angles are the boxes in the corner. And hopefully by now we know right angles are 90 degrees. So anytime you see that box, it's going to stand for 90 degrees. Okay? Then, if I have a quadrilateral that's a rectangle, then it is also a parallelogram. So that parallelogram means that opposite sides were equal to each other. And then it also meant that those diagonals all bisected each other. So they're all the same size. So AE is equal to EC, but is also equal to ED and EB. All right. And I kind of did another check here just so that you could see each of these 4 pieces in the middle are all the same length. And there's proof in that, and you could go back to like the Pythagorean theorem, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. But going into all those things, you can start to really prove that those 4 are congruent to each other. But trust the definition that all 4 segments inside a quadrilateral are all going to be the same. So like this one, if OC is 5, then FO is 5, then OE is 5, then DO is 5. And so I could say FO equals 5. We could also say OE is 9, which makes each one of these 9. And if I wanted to find EG, EG is EO plus OG, so segment addition postulate. And then I'm just going to do 9 plus 9 equals 18. So EG would be 18. If I know the whole thing is 8.2, 8.2 divided by 2, because we have 2 segments, is going to be 4.1. So I know each one of these segments is 4.1, 4.1, 4.1. All right? So if I wanted to know OU, OU equals 4.1. Next, let me, do I not have it? I don't have a pink. Let's do pink. YO is 30, which means OW is 30 as well. Let's get an orange going. If SR is 3, PQ is 3, if PS is 9, QR is 9. Get a darker green. If AB is 32, DC is 32. If DA is 26, because BC is 26. So that's using some of the definition of a rectangle to answer these questions. So let's apply it to a little bit. What the heck? Why would mine end? I don't want it to end. Okay, so apparently I'm not active enough on it. But we're going to do PO is 19.7. So RO is going to be 19.7. QO is 19.7 and OS is 19.7. So if I look at this, QO plus OS equals QS, right? And I know QO is 19.7 and I know OS is 19.7 and that's going to equal QS. So then I get 14, carry the 1, that's 20. 39.4. Let's take a look. 19.7 times 2 is 39.4. 39.4 QS. Done. Okay. Next one. AC. So from A to C is 56. So 56 divided into 2 equal parts, because I've got a part here and a part there. That's going to be 28. So each of these is 28, 28, 28. Okay, find AO. Well, we just did. So AO equals 28. We just got to cut it in half. Okay, now if we know, once again, we have a rectangle. So a rectangle has 90 degrees. But you could also look at the fact of we have parallel lines cut by a transversal. What kind of angles? Don't you see the Z shape? So angle 2 equals 61 degrees because of the Z shape. Because 2 parallel lines cut by transversal, I have the Z shape here where this is 61, so angle 2 has to be 61. Okay, and I know angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90 degrees because in rectangles this has to be 90 degrees, so there's a box here. And I know angle 2 is 61 because I just solved that. Subtract 61 from both sides, and angle 1 equals 29. So angle 1 is going to be 29 degrees, which is the same under that same logic of the Z as angle 4. Angle 4 is going to be 29 degrees. Then if I do the U shape, or I understand what figure I have, angle 5 equals angle 3 equals 90 degrees. Because remember, you have to have 4 right angles in a rectangle. And that's what these example problems are focused on, the fact that we have rectangles. So find each measure. Now, if I know AD is 6, I know DC is 8, so I know AB is 8. Then I can find the diagonal by A squared plus B squared equals C squared. The only letter we care about is the C, which is the one we're solving for. So we can make this A and this B or vice versa. So we're going to do 6 squared plus 8 squared equals c squared, and we have a Pythagorean triple for this one because it comes out nice. Square root both sides, and c is going to equal 10. So I know that that diagonal is equal to 10. Now, do that same thing here. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. I know DC, it says, is 12. BC is 5. And once again, that means AD is 5. So take this triangle. And I have C again, is what I'm solving for. So 5 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. We'll have 25. 12 times 12 is 144 c squared, so that's going to be 169. That's another perfect square. You should have your perfect squares up to 15 memorized, and c equals 13. All right, last one. BC is 7, which means AD is 7. AB is 24, so DC is 24. And then just make one more round of a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 7 squared plus 24 squared equals c squared. 49 plus, I have no idea, but I can do 24 times 24 and get 576. So 576 plus 49, no idea. 576 plus 49 is 625. So 625 equals c squared. And then your last step, take the square root of both sides so that I get c equals the square root of 625. It's Q T 625, and your answer becomes just a plain old 25. I figured it would come out to be a nice answer, but just to make sure. And another Pythagorean triple. Apparently 7, 24, and 25 is a Pythagorean triple as well, because they all are nice integers. 6, 8, 10, like we had here. We have 7, 24, and 25. We had 5, 12, and 13 is another Pythagorean triple. All right, excellent. So that is our rectangle. So going back to here, how many sets of parallel sides? We had 2. Are all of the sides congruent? No, we still don't have all 4 sides congruent. But are all 4 angles 90 degrees? Now we can slide to the yes. Because in a rectangle, all 4 sides are 90 degrees. And look what we have. We've got a rectangle. Okay? So let's start to apply some different things. So we have opposite parallel sides. So we know we have 2 sets opposite parallel sides. Are all 4 sides congruent? That's where we start with this rhombus idea, where all 4 sides are going to be equal to each other. And the most famous is the square, where we have 4 equal angles, 4 equal sides. There's our square. But for a rhombus, that's not the case. The rhombus does not need equal angles. We don't need them to be 90 degrees. What we do know is that the diagonals will form 90 degrees. What we do know is that the diagonals will bisect each other. And what you need to understand is this line is equal to that line, this line is equal to that line, but none of these match each other. Like the outside lengths, the inside lengths, they're all different lengths. So you have to be careful with that. And then pay attention to like the angles, angle MJN. So this angle up here is going to be the same as KJN. So the opposite top angle, and the opposite top angle, and the opposite base angle, and the opposite base angle. So you're going to start to play that game as well. where you're going to see this angle right here is equal to that angle right there. But we have so many lines on this picture, I don't want to draw anymore. So how can we utilize that? Well, we can go back to that. If this is 105, this is going to be 105. And then we know this angle X is going to be equal to that angle X because opposite angles are equal to each other. So I have 2X plus 210 equals 360 because we have a quadrilateral. So that will be 150. Cut that in half. 75. So angle R is going to be 75. Angle P is going to be 75. Angle Q we already said is 105. And remember the U shape. So we could have done it that way too. 75 plus 105 is 180. Okay. And if if QP is 2, RS is 2. And in a rhombus, RQ is 2. And PS is 2. All the sides are equal to each other. And then the perimeter, add all 4 sides together, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. We're going to get 8. Okay? So pause it, see if you can do the next 2 by yourself on your own. And we have angle 70. So I know this is going to be 70. I do know that I've got a U shape. So this has got to be 110 and 110 because they need to equal 180. All right. And then all 4 sides, 5 centimeters. So 5, 5, 5, the perimeter, 20. 13, 13, 13, all the sides are equal to each other. So that would be what, 52? Angle S is going to be 146. Make the U shape. And that's going to be 34. Hope that's not too bad. So continue this process. Now remember, the diagonals, these form right angles, okay? So if this is 40, that means this is 40. And if this is 50, that means this is 50. So I've got this 40, 50, 90 degree triangle, okay? So angle V, the whole angle is going to be 80 degrees. W is going to be 100. Angle U is going to be 100. And angle X is going to be 80 because we want the whole angle, which is 40 plus 40. The whole angle, which is 50 plus 50. And then perimeter 4, 8, 12, 16. 4 times 4. I like it. Okay. If this is 26, then this is going to be 26. Which makes sense because 64, 26, and 90 are all going to give us 180. And remember, these are always going to be boxes right here, 90 degrees. And this bisects that. This bisects that. And then all sides outside are 9. But think about it. Sweet. You're going to start to do a squared plus b squared equals, and the outsides are all going to be the C value now instead of the diagonal. So that'll be something else that we'll get to play with. All right, so angle X, 52, because I'm doing 26 plus 26. Angle Y is going to be 64 plus 64. 128. Angle W is opposite angle Y, so that's also going to be 128. Angle Z is opposite angle X, so that's also going to be 52. 9 times 4, 36, because 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9, all those are going to be 36. Okay, now 37, 37, 53, 53. So then this whole thing is going to be 106. This whole angle over here is going to be 74. So angle U is 74, angle S is 74, angle V 106, angle T 106. Perimeter, all four sides, 17s. I don't know. 17 times 4 equals 68. So then the perimeter is going to be 68. Okay. Opposite angles are equal. So thinking about that, if opposite angles are equal, I'm going to have a 3x plus 18 equals 78 in this problem. And solve it for x. Hopefully you create the u. Don't leave that. That still happens. 72 plus 9x equals 180. Keep the u going. 124 plus 7x minus 7 equals 180. Outside, opposite sides are all equal. So 5y equals 20. So y equals 4. And 95 minus 5x equals 20. So I get negative 5x equals negative 75 divided by negative 5. And x is going to equal 115. All these are going to equal 47. So 47 equals 12 plus 5x. And 47 equals negative 41 plus 8y. And then solve those. So a lot of solving for a variable. But, I mean, that's what geometry is just setting up and solving. So x equals 20. And just continue to solve these out. Minus 72 is just going to be 108. 9x. Divide by 9. X equals 112. Okay. Then we're going to add 7 to both sides. 24 plus 7x equals 187. Then we're going to subtract 124 from both sides. And we're going to get 7x equals 63. Then we're going to divide both sides by 7. And x is going to equal 9. And then you could plug it back in and do 9 times 7 minus 7. Or you could do 180 minus 124 and say that this angle better be 56. Okay. Subtract 12. Let's just do this real quick. 35 equals 5. Divide by 5. X equals 7. Add 41. Add 41. 8y equals 88. Divide by 8. Y equals 11. Okay. And then the last couple, once again, set it up, solve it out. I like that one. So let's talk about this right here. We know that this angle measure, this pink angle right here, that got formed was a 90 degree because it's a rhombus. So I'm going to do 3n squared minus 0.75 equal to 90. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 0.75 to both sides. 3x squared. I can do x or n, doesn't really matter. We are going to divide by 3 on both sides. So that x squared equals 0.25. And now, to get rid of a squared sign, we square root both sides. And x is going to equal the square root of 30.25. QRT 30.25 and get 5.5. So 5.5 is going to be my x value for this. Okay. Now, ooh, that's interesting. I don't think we would know that. How could we figure that out? Anyways, take all my 4 sides are going to be equal. So 6m minus 12 equals 4m plus 4. Add 12 to both sides. Oops. Let's get rid of that last line. We're going to get 6m equals 4m plus 16. Subtract 4m from both sides. And 2m equals 16. Divide by 2. M equals 8. So then if I do 6 times 8 minus 12, 48 minus 12 is 36. So the measure of this is 36. So this angle measure right here is what's kind of trippy. So they don't tell you any other angles, and I don't think that's enough information. I think I need more information. I do know that this is 90, but I don't know, like that needs to be n or something. Like I need to know what that value is so I can add all 3, set it equal to 180. But I don't think there's enough information to use this. I think this is just kind of throwing us off. Okay, so don't worry about that right now. But these are your other 2 values. This one set up 80 equals 98 minus 6y. And then 80 equals 8x minus 40. Solve those out. And pause the video. I'll solve them real quick, but this is it. How's it going?
Good. Would you be willing to take a walk in about a half hour? They're doing the neighborhood Halloween party. Starts at 4. Thought we could walk over.
Okie dokie.
Would you be willing to do that with me?
Yeah. So y is going to equal 3 here. And then divide by 8. 8. That should be 1 and 5. X equals 15. And if you wanted to double check, plug your values back in. If I do 8 times 15 minus 40, 8 times 15 minus 40 is 80. So that we showed that this is 80 as well. And you can do 98 minus 6 times 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 98 minus 18, going to be 80 as well. So we showed all 4 sides are equal to each other. So great work. I hope that makes sense to everybody. And keep plugging along. We're going to always come back to what kind of quadrilateral we talked about. So let's look at this. Today, how many sets of opposite parallel sides? We still had 2 sets of parallel sides. Are all 4 sides congruent? Well, with the rectangle, we said no. With the rhombus, we said yes. Are all angles 90 degrees? No. So that's how we get to the rhombus. But if all 4 sides were congruent, are all 4 angles 90 degrees? That one we could say yes to, so that gives us a rectangle. So once again, we're starting to narrow these things down to which one we actually have. We're going to keep this flowchart going, but today we did rectangles and rhombuses. Yesterday we did parallelograms. So keep working hard. I'm going to stop recording.